Welcome to the Good Enough Lap Guide in the Mazda MX5 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is the Roval variant. The whole idea behind this video is to give you guys a good enough lap guide that you can use to build a foundation on and then use that to move up through the splits. The Roval at Charlotte has a lot of big sweeping corners, so it's a great track to learn that car control going through these long sweepers, big arcing corners. You don't need a lot of inputs to make adjustments to your line going through the corner because the Mazda is so sensitive to oversteer on entry and middle. You'll see that very small inputs will help dictate your line and make it so you can get through the corner without having to overdrive the car. For the Mazda MX5, you will find it has oversteer on entry and middle, especially on cold tires. It takes about a lap and a half for the tires to get up to temp, so just be really careful on that first lap that you're not overdriving the car because you will spin out. And then as you get to the exit of the corners, you'll find the car picks up understeer, so there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to need to be patient, make sure you have enough rotation in the car, you've rotated enough through the corner. Because when you get on the throttle, it really starts to push, and if you didn't wait long enough and you were too early on the throttle, you're going to have to get back off the throttle, let the car rotate more, and then get on the throttle again, which just means you're going to sacrifice time and, most importantly, your exit speed out of the corner. For this lap, the ambient temperature was 87 degrees Fahrenheit or 30.5 degrees Celsius. The track temp was 127 degrees Fahrenheit or 52.7 degrees Celsius. The lap time was a 131.651. And with that, let's get into the lap. For turn 1, your brake zone is going to be just before the 1, and then as you get past the 1, we'll start our turn in, but you'll notice I'm not putting a lot of wheel into it. I'm just tapping the brakes, and by doing that, the car is going to rotate because it does have that much oversteer going into the corner. As you're coming into the corner, it'll be a middle apex. You can go over the red and white curb. The car takes it pretty well. The blue curb, it kicks the tires up in there a little too long and then pushes you out wide. As we exit the corner, we're going to let the car float out wide to optimize our entry angle for turn 2. The apex for turn 2 is a mid to late apex. We want to wrap our car around that wall, get as close as you can to it, and then keep those left side tires on the blue line as long as you can. As we're exiting turn 2, we're going to want to swing out wide for turn 3. It's going to be a middle to late apex. Get close to the curb, but I recommend not touching it. This is one of those corners I was talking about in the intro. It's a big, long, arcing corner. You're tying turns 3 and 4 together. It's basically one long corner, and small inputs will make a big difference when going through this corner. You can't overdrive it. The car actually will pick up a little understeer at some points if you're driving in it too fast. Little dabs of the brake will get you back on course. That's what I did this lap. You'll see me dab the brake a little bit as we're trying to get our apex for turn 4. But you'll let the car float out. Left side tires over the white line here so we get a good entry going into turn 4. Apex for turn 4 will be a medium to late apex. Get as close to that curb as you can. It's alright if you kiss it. Next, we're coming up to 5 and 6, similar to 3 and 4. It's one big, long, arcing corner. This is one of those corners you really don't need to make big inputs. When we're coming out of turn 5, we're just going to barely touch the brake, and the car is basically going to turn itself into turn 6. It will spin out on you if you get on the brakes too hard and you put too much wheel in it. But the apex for the corner is going to be a late apex. Get as close to the blue curb as you can without touching it. And just pay attention here, when the video picks up, when I get on the brakes, I'm basically holding the wheel straight and the car's still turning. We'll let the car float out wide. The left side tires will be just over the line so we can get a good entry for going into turn 6. And we'll start our turn in where the white paint starts on the curb on the left. Turn 6 is a late apex. We're going to wrap the car around the wall, get as close as we can to it, and then as the nose of the car starts to point towards the scoring pylon, that's when we're going to get back on the throttle. For turn 7, our line's going to be just hugging the left curb here, keeping the left side tires on the blue line as we exit past the curb. You can just use the curb to the blue line as a rail, keep those left side tires on that rail, and that'll get you around the corner nicely. We'll then let the car float out to the wall, get as close to the wall as you can without hitting it, and then we'll begin our turn in for turn 8. Really important corner to get a good run out of here. You're going to be doing the same thing as basically turn 6. You're going to have a late apex. You're going to try and wrap the car around the wall and then get on the throttle as soon as you get to the apex. There are two key indicators as you're coming around turn 8 that you want to be looking for. The first is the yellow line. You want your left side tires to just clip that as you're going past it. And then up ahead along the wall where it says Charlotte, USA, that's a general area you want to be aiming for as you're coming off the corner. Then you'll just let the car arc out naturally around the corner, get down on the white line. But this is one of those corners that you're going to want to really focus on getting a good exit out of the corner, hoping your opponent messes up the exit, and then you'll be able to use the draft plus his air coming out of the corner and get the pass. For turn 10, you're going to brake just before the 2 sign, kind of where the red and white stripes are meeting the stars. And as we're entering this bus stop or chicane, it's a pretty tricky combination of corners. The big thing is you don't want to take a lot of curb. On the first curb here on the left, it's okay to go over the red and the white, maybe just barely kiss that blue curb, but the whole key is to get that middle apex here. Once the tires set, which I mean the left side tires, once those get back on the ground, that's when you start your turn in for the next corner. But if you take that blue curb, the tires are just going to be up in the air too long, and you're not going to be able to get your turn in time for turn 11. So you can see the left side tires, they hopped off the ground for just a second there. As soon as they set, I began my turn in. Middle apex, same thing with this curb, just touch the red and white curb, don't touch the blue curb because you really need to wrap around the blue curb so you can get a good exit out of the corner. As we're exiting the corner, I find this orange dot here a good indication of when to get back on the throttle once the car's pointed at it. If we get on the throttle too soon, we'll push out wide, we'll get too close to the wall, it'll mess up our exit speed. This is another one of those corners where you really want to nail the exit because it's another good drafting and passing opportunity. As we're exiting the corner, you can take a nice natural line back up to the banking along the flats, but if you go too far on the flats, they will give you a slowdown penalty. Just be careful of that. We have one last chicane to go through because Roval, so as we're getting the left side of the car close to the white and blue line, that's when we're going to start our trail braking for the corner. And just before we get to the kink and the white and blue line here is when we're going to start our turn in for the corner. As we get to the first part of the chicane, we can go over the curbs here. You can just barely touch the blue curbs. I recommend not touching them too much. If you even go further than that, they'll just give you an off-track penalty. And then we'll have a middle apex for the corner, which will set us up for the last part of the chicane. And for the second part of the chicane, we're going to have a middle to late apex. You can jump over a lot of this blue curb. You just got to get used to how the car handles when it lands. You kind of want to be free with your steering. Let the car settle. Don't try and manhandle it over the curb. And the way I like to envision this is I'm trying to shoot my left side tires straight over the last part of the blue curb. I'm basically trying to line up the left side of my car to go straight over that whole last section of the blue curb. That'll wrap up the Good Enough Lap Guide in the Mazda MX5 at Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. If you enjoyed the video, found it helpful in any way, please hit that like button. If you'd like to subscribe, that'd be cool too. And I'll see you guys in the next one.